Hello, Professor Retro here, and as the days get closer and closer to Christmas, I always like to see what games came out with a Christmas or holiday theme. But this year I let you, the masses, choose what game to review first, and well, you chose Santa Claus Junior on the Gameboy Color. And with that, I am Professor Retro, and this is my review of Santa Claus Junior. The plot goes like this. Santa is shot down out of the sky and kidnapped by an evil witch. However, he has never finished delivering the presents yet. A young boy named Nick, who somehow found Santa's coat, and upon picking it up, a fairy appears who tells him that it is now his job to gather all the presents that got scattered and deliver them, and then ultimately face off with the witch to free Santa. Gee, that one part about the jacket sounds a lot like the Santa Claus. The gameplay is your basic platformer. There are a few things here that make it a bit more fun. You can use chairs to bounce yourself up to higher areas and levels, and if you can reach it, you can climb up on things like ledges and dressers. In the first level, you are inside a house collecting candy canes and gathering presents, while avoiding, of all things, cats. I have no idea what cats have against Santa. Anyway, to get to the higher areas, you can jump and hope you climb on the ledge to get there, or you can use furniture to get you higher, or climb a rope to get higher as well. Or you can find a conveniently placed clothesline. At some point, there's a bonus area where you have to collect as many candy canes as you can until the time runs out, with some hard-to-get places with extra lives, reminding me of the impossible-to-get pizzas in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES game. The next level finds you outside in the snow, trying to avoid cats again. What do these cats all have to do with Christmas, and why are they all after us? Don't ask me why. You hop from ledge to ledge, sort of like the first level of Bart vs. the Space Mutants, but without the aliens disguised as humans. You can eliminate the cats by jumping on them, just like you did with a Goomba in Super Mario Bros. Once you're done in the house, you then find yourself outside using power lines like monkey bars to try to get from one end to the other. Remember, kids, this is a video game, so don't try this at home until you get to a church where you are still collecting presents and candy bars, but this time, the animals out to get you are lizards. Once you get out of the church and find yourself back outside, this time you are hopping from platform to platform, avoiding our next strange thing, smiling fireballs. Once you get that done, you then end up back at the church, but this time you can use red balloons to get up higher as you collect candy canes and presents, and still have to tend with those nasty little lizards. However, as you make your way to the next level outside of the church, you then have to hop over deadly ice spikes and avoid getting shot at with an ice ball by a cloud. After you hop from church to church and house to house for a while, you soon find yourself in the clouds, traveling to a castle, where you have to collect more presents and candy canes. This time you have to avoid killer gargoyles. Once you get to the bells and go inside them, you're inside the castle, again collecting candy canes and presents, all while avoiding what looks like fire creatures. Eventually you find yet another bonus level where you again have to collect as many candy canes and presents. Gee, after all this time, I started to see a platform here, until time runs out, where you're back at the castle once again. Now you're outside again doing the same thing as before, but this time avoiding what looks like weird purple soldiers with swords and shields. And once you get past that, you're back in the sky, hopping, only to end up back on the ground again. And once you're done with that, you end up in what appears to be a town. Finally something different than a house, a church, outside Powerline Sky, and castle. You have now to avoid more cats, and this time, ghosts. Once you get past the town, you find yourself at the castle once again, this time avoiding ghosts that are red, and ducks in suits. What is the Scrooge McDuck's warped uncle's house? So once you do all that, you finally end up facing the witch that started this whole mess once and for all, who shoots fireballs at you while dive bombing you until you find a nearly naked Santa who thanks you and then proceeds to take inventory of what you all collected. The whole thing ends with a jukebox that lets you play music in the game, followed with a scene showing Nick in a striped red and white blanket and the credits scrolling at the bottom. And there you have it, the entire gameplay of Santa Claus Junior. Now, next up, the review of this wonderful, wonderful, weird, strange game. So now, what do I think of all this? Well, the graphics are good for being in the Game Boy Color. However, the gameplay is just repeated over and over and over and over with little to no variety at all. The game does play like your basic platformer, jumping, climbing, collecting things. The enemies are just bizarre. Cats, lizards, finely dressed ducks, fireballs, and gargoyles. I mean, what does it all have to do with Christmas? I also didn't like seeing the password at the end of each area. It kind of made the game a little bit weird and strange at the end of each area. And what is with the jukebox? I could have done without that. The music is not that good, really. It really doesn't need to be there at all. Why not make it a cheat code extra, not part of the end of the game? So, all in all, Santa Claus Junior is a repetitive collection of a platformer that somehow thinks it needs to remind you of the password with a theme of the Tim Allen movies, The Santa Claus. I give Santa Claus Junior 3 coals out of 5. And with all that, I am Professor Retro reminding you to vote in each week's poll for this month to decide the next game. And don't forget to hit that like button, ring that bell, and smash the subscribe button. And peace out and stay frosty.